Hi, in this video we will look at the various ways in which metals can be extracted from their ores, including reduction using carbon and hydrogen, as well as displacement reactions, and also bioleaching and phytomining. Metals at the bottom of the reactivity series, such as gold and platinum, can be found as elements in the Earth's crust. However, most metals are too reactive to be found as elements, since they will react with other elements around them, such as sulfur and oxygen, to form ionic compounds. For example, chalcocite is a common ore of copper composed mainly of copper sulfide, while hematite is a common ore of iron which consists mainly of the compound iron oxide. Rocks which contain these metal compounds in sufficient amounts to make it economically worthwhile extracting them from the earth are called metal ores. Now, the method used to extract a metal from its ore depends mainly on the position of the metal in the reactivity series. For example, metals above carbon in the reactivity series are very reactive metals, and these metals are usually extracted from their ores by electrolysis. However, metals below carbon in the reactivity series can be extracted from their ores in a number of ways, but perhaps the most cost-effective method is simply heating the metal ore with carbon or charcoal as shown. Now, many metal ores contain metal oxides, and here the carbon will reduce the metal oxide. That is, it will simply remove oxygen from the metal oxide to leave the metal. For example, an equation for the reduction of iron oxide using carbon is shown. Here, carbon is oxidized to form carbon dioxide, and the iron oxide is reduced to form metallic iron. Now, the reduction of a metal using carbon is not the only method that can be used to obtain a metal from its ore. If we look at the reactivity series, for example, we can see that copper metal is less reactive than hydrogen, since it is below it in the reactivity series. Now, if a sample of copper oxide is placed in a long glass tube, and then a stream of hydrogen gas is passed over the hot black copper oxide, then the hydrogen gas will reduce the copper oxide to form brown copper metal. An equation for this reaction is shown. Here you can see that the copper oxide is reduced to form copper metal, while the hydrogen is oxidized to form hydrogen oxide or water vapour. Another method which can be used to extract a metal from its ore or compound is to carry out a displacement reaction. Now, in a displacement reaction, a more reactive metal will be used to kick out or remove a less reactive metal from its compound or a solution of the compound. For example, if magnesium powder is mixed with copper oxide and placed on a tin lid, and this mixture is then heated, a very violent reaction will take place as the more reactive magnesium metal displaces or removes the less reactive copper metal from its compound. In this reaction, the magnesium is essentially taking the place of the copper, as shown in the two equations. In this reaction, the more reactive magnesium metal has been oxidized, while the copper in the copper oxide has been reduced to form copper metal. Now, traditional methods of extracting metal ores from the ground are not what you would call an environmentally friendly operation. During mining, large areas of land undergo massive environmental damage. Mining metal ores is also an energy-intensive process which releases large amounts of pollution into the atmosphere and the environment. Now, the metal ores which are extracted from the ground usually undergo smelting. That is, they're heated up with a reducing agent, such as carbon or hydrogen, or indeed some other reducing agent, to extract the metal. This is also an energy-intensive process and will in itself produce large amounts of environmental pollution and damage. Now, low-grade metal ores are metal ores which may only contain a very small amount of metal in them. This means that after the metal is extracted, there will be a lot of waste material produced, which will of course incur expense to get rid of and likely cause further environmental damage. This means that extracting metals from low-grade ores is generally not an economically viable process. Now, copper is a very valuable and expensive metal. Unfortunately, most of the Earth's reserves of high-grade copper ore have been used up, so new methods of extracting copper from low-grade ores have been found which avoid traditional mining methods of digging, moving and disposing of large amounts of rock and material. These new methods of extracting metals rely on bacteria and plants to remove the metal from these low-grade ores, and these new techniques of phytomining and bioleaching are much less environmentally damaging than traditional mining methods. In phytomining, plants are grown on land containing the low-grade metal ore, such as a copper ore. The plants will then take in the metals present in the soil as they grow, and this means that the metal will become concentrated in the plant cells and tissues. Once the plants are mature, they can be harvested, collected, dried and then burned. This means that the metals present in the plants will then be further concentrated in the ash produced. The ash can then be treated and dissolved in a sulfuric acid solution to form a solution of copper sulfate, which can then undergo electrolysis to produce copper at the cathode. Alternatively, the copper sulfate solution can undergo a displacement reaction using scrap iron to obtain the copper metal. This phytomining method of extracting metals using plants is much more environmentally friendly than traditional mining methods, but obviously it is much slower. Phytomining is not the only biological method that can be used to extract a metal from its ore. Bioleaching uses bacteria and enzymes in a similar, low-tech, environmentally friendly way to extract metals such as silver, uranium, nickel, copper and zinc from their ores. In bioleaching, a watery solution of bacteria is sprayed onto the metal ore, which is simply placed in a pit lined with a plastic waterproof liner. The bacteria present are able to extract the metal from the ore to form an acidic solution called a leachate. This leachate solution is a solution of metal ions, and to extract the metal from the solution, a simple displacement reaction can be carried out, for example, using scrap iron to displace the metal, or alternatively, an electrolysis experiment can be carried out to produce the metal. Hi, thanks for watching. If you found this video helpful or would simply like more information, then why not visit the website that accompanies these videos? The links are in the description below. If you enjoyed the video, then please consider liking and subscribing. Thank you.